Imagine discovering a coin so rare, so valuable, that it could erase your mortgage, pay off your debts, and still leave enough for you to retire early in luxury. Now picture this. It's not locked in a vault, not buried in a millionaire's collection. Could be sitting quietly, right in your kitchen drawer. Yes, we're talking about a 1962 Lincoln Memorial penny, stamped with a tiny D under the year. Harmless looking, right? But what if I told you that one of these rare copper beauties is now valued at up to $662,000? You heard that right. $662,000. Let that sink in. So before you toss your loose change into a vending machine, you need to watch this, because this 1-cent coin could be the $1 million secret you've been walking past for decades. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this coin so rare, how to identify one, and how you can turn pocket change into generational wealth. But first, let me tell you how this copper penny almost slipped through history unnoticed. Let's travel back to 1962. John F. Kennedy is president. Gas is just 28 cents a gallon. And in Denver, the U.S. Mint is pumping out millions of Lincoln cents. Mostly average, common, and forgettable. But among those ordinary pennies, something went horribly right. A handful of coins, less than a whisper in the massive production run, were struck with a perfect storm of minting anomalies, die errors, and pristine copper composition. Some were struck on planchets intended for foreign coins. Others were double die errors. A few were struck with exceptional sharpness, giving them almost proof-like detail, even though they were released for circulation. And here's the kicker. Most people didn't notice. They spent them, lost them, tossed them into piggy banks. But a few lucky collectors held on. One recently surfaced, certified and graded by a top authority, and it shattered expectations, selling for over $600,000 at a high-end auction. Now here's where it gets exciting and a little nerve-wracking. What if you have one? What if one of those pennies, now worth more than a luxury condo in Miami, is sitting in your attic, waiting to be discovered? And what if you accidentally gave it away with a handful of laundry quarters? Take a breath. We'll help you make sure that never happens. Let's be honest. We've all had that coin jar at home. The one that becomes a time capsule of soda machine change and forgotten fast food receipts. But suddenly, that sad little jar looks a whole lot sexier now, doesn't it? So what makes the 1962 D penny worth more than a brand new Porsche? First, the mint mark. Look for the small d under the year 1962. That means it was minted in Denver. Second, check the condition. The most valuable specimens are graded MS 66 or higher, which stands for mint state. This means the coin looks practically untouched. Sharp edges, clean strike, strong luster. Third, and this is crucial, look for errors. Look closely at Lincoln's profile, especially the date and the words, "In God we trust." If you see a slight doubling, jackpot. Part of the design might be missing, shifted, or misaligned. These coins can look a bit off in color or weight. Some were accidentally struck on silver or foreign blanks. Still unsure what you're looking at? Take a photo and submit it to a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. That one photo might just be your lottery ticket. Now, here's the part most people don't talk about. A coin like this doesn't just pop up in auctions every day. They're so rare that the next one could explode in value, possibly even cross the $1 million mark. Collectors are desperate to find the next known example. That's why some of them are quietly buying up rolls of 1962 D pennies by the hundreds, hoping lightning strikes twice. And that begs the question, what will you do with your pennies? We live in an age where digital currencies dominate headlines. But right under our noses, old-school American coins, real, tangible history, are turning everyday people into overnight millionaires. If you're over 30, chances are you've had thousands of these coins pass through your hands. Maybe one's still hiding in a shoebox, a drawer, or tucked away with your childhood piggy bank. This is your wake-up call. Because doing nothing might cost you $600,000. Go grab that jar. Open that drawer. Start looking. Because someone is going to find the next 1962 D penny worth a fortune. Why not you? If you found this video eye-opening, you're just scratching the surface. There are hundreds of coins out there just like this, hidden in plain sight. So hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because every week we reveal new coins, real values, and insider tips that can turn your coin stash into a 6- or 7-figure payday. And tell us in the comments, what's the oldest coin you've ever found? Remember, You're not just holding change, you're holding history, and maybe even a new future. Imagine reaching into your old change jar, pulling out a single penny, and realizing it's worth over $664,000. Yes, you heard that right. One tiny coin, a 1964 D Lincoln Memorial penny. Now, ask yourself this: what if you've been spending small fortunes without knowing it? Most people toss pennies aside like they're worthless. But the truth is, some of these little copper discs can be the key to your next big breakthrough, your dream car, your escape from debt, maybe even your early retirement. Today, we're diving into the world of the 1964 D Mint Mark Lincoln Memorial Penny, a coin hiding in plain sight, and revealing why it's been selling for up to $664,000. So don't blink. You may be holding treasure in your hands and not even know it. By the way, when was the last time you actually looked at your pennies? Because after this video, you'll never look at one the same way again. Let's rewind the clock to 1964. The Vietnam War was heating up. Martin Luther King Jr. was winning the Nobel Peace Prize. And in Denver, millions of Lincoln pennies were being minted, unnoticed. Most of those pennies were ordinary, stamped, counted, circulated. But a few rare gems slipped through. Mistakes, misprints, unique copper compositions, imperfections that transformed these humble coins into collector gold mines. Now here's the secret. Not all 1964 D pennies are worth a fortune. But some are so rare, so perfect or imperfect, that collectors are battling for them at high-stakes auctions. So what makes one 1964 D penny worth more than $500,000? Let's break it down. First, the mint mark. That tiny D under the year? It stands for Denver, where the coin was minted. Now, normally that wouldn't matter much. But specific variations from this minting year have shown unusual double dies, oddities in lettering alignment, and even wrong metal planchets. That's right, some 1964 D pennies were accidentally struck on 95% copper planchets meant for other years. And guess what? Those are worth a fortune. Then there's condition. Coins that stayed untouched, shiny, and crisp for decades, especially those graded MS-67 and above, are bringing in life-changing amounts at auction houses. I know what you're thinking. But how do I know if I've got one? We'll get to that. But first, quick question. Have you ever argued with someone about why pennies still exist? Well, now you can win that argument by saying, because one of them might make me a millionaire. See what I did there? Now we're getting to the good part: how to identify if your 1964 D penny is one of the rare few worth up to $664,000. But before that, let's pause for a second. Because here's the kicker. Some people have thrown these coins away, used them in vending machines, or left them stuck in couch cushions. Imagine accidentally giving away your six-figure future for a pack of gum. Scary, right? Let's make sure you don't make that mistake. All right, time to examine your 1964 D penny. The mint mark D, clear and crisp. No doubling or smudging. Doubling: look closely at Lincoln's profile, the word Liberty, and the date. Doubling in these areas is a key sign of value. Color and luster. A deep copper red tone with full luster is a major win, especially if it's been preserved in mint condition. Grading: if your coin is in exceptional shape, get it graded by a reputable agency like PCGS or NGC. A high grade could mean a six-figure payout. Weight check: some error coins weigh differently due to the wrong metal being used. A precise scale might reveal more than you expect. And here's where it gets exciting. Some collectors and dealers are actively hunting these coins online, in estate sales, even at flea markets. The market is hot and prices are climbing as collectors realize just how few of these rare 1964 D pennies exist in pristine condition. So now, the big question is, will you check your stash today, or let this opportunity slip away? What if the next millionaire is you? We walk past wealth every day. Not just in money, in memories, old belongings, and yes, coins. That little jar of pennies on your shelf? It might be holding your second chance. You don't need luck. You need awareness. So go check your pennies. Check your dad's jar. Check the back of the drawer. Because the clock is ticking, and collectors are buying. If you found this video valuable, hit that subscribe button for more rare coin secrets, valuation tips, and strategies to turn forgotten change into real wealth. What if I told you that a simple, forgotten penny from 1966, a coin you might already own, could be the key to unlocking a six-figure fortune. Yes, a single Lincoln cent. No mint marked and no flashy silver.
No gold.
Just one old copper penny, and yet, it's worth $666,000 in today's market. Pause now. Before you go running to your coin jar or flipping the couch cushions, ask yourself this. Have you ever thrown away something priceless? Simply because you didn't know its value? Because today, we're about to uncover how an ordinary-looking coin, minted in 1966 with no mint mark, could be your lottery ticket to financial freedom. You'll learn why it's so valuable, how to spot the rare ones, and most importantly, how to cash in before it's too late. But be warned, millions of these pennies exist, yet only a handful hold the secret that could change your life. So stay with me, because missing this could cost you more than you think. Let's rewind to 1966. The Beatles were ruling the charts, gas was 32 cents a gallon, and the US Mint was pumping out coins to meet booming demand. But something strange happened that year. Something that now has collectors and investors scrambling. That year, to deter coin hoarding, the US Mint made a bold decision. They removed mint marks from all coins, Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco. It didn't matter. Every penny looked the same. How do you spot a rare 1966 no mint mark penny when? Well, none of them have mint marks. Here's where it gets exciting. Most of these pennies are common, worth a cent or two, maybe a few dollars in mint condition. But a select few were struck on experimental planchets, had off-metal errors, or contained deeply misaligned dies that make them one of a kind. Some even have double die obverse, meaning Lincoln's face or the "In God We Trust" text appears slightly duplicated. Subtle to the eye, but jackpot to a trained collector, and that's not all. One rare specimen, graded MS-67 red, recently sold for an eye-popping $666,000 at a private auction. And the wildest part? It was sitting in a retired veteran's coffee can for over 40 years before it was found. When was the last time you checked your change? Still think pennies are worthless, so now you're probably wondering, how do I know if my 1966 penny is worth hundreds of thousands? First, color and luster. Coins labeled red in collector grading fetch the highest value. Second, grade. A coin in mint state 65 or higher, no scratches, no dullness, commands premium prices. Third, errors. Double dies, off-center strikes, or planchet issues can make all the difference. And finally, authentication. Never sell a rare penny raw. Get it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. Now imagine this. You sell that old penny for six figures, you pay off your mortgage, you upgrade your lifestyle, maybe even take that long overdue trip to Italy, or invest in something that truly matters to you. You didn't mine Bitcoin, you didn't play the stock market, you just recognized value, hidden in plain sight. And here's the kicker, 1966 isn't the only year this happened. There are dozens of coins hiding in your change that could be worth a small fortune. But most people will never know. They'll spend them, lose them, forget them, but not you. You stayed until the end, and that tells me something. You're ready to stop dreaming and start digging. Go check your change jar. Look through your drawers. That old penny might just be your turning point, and if you found this valuable, subscribe now. Because next week, we're diving into another penny that could be worth over $1 million. This is more than pocket change, it's a legacy. Don't let it slip through your fingers. Imagine waking up to a normal day. Coffee's brewing, mail's on the table. Then, while rummaging through a drawer of old keepsakes, you find a single copper coin. Just one penny. Faded, slightly dirty. Stamped 1968D. You almost toss it. But something tells you to pause. Because what you're holding might be worth $668,000. Yes, a single penny from 1968 with a small D mint mark could be the ticket to a brand new life. This isn't fantasy. This isn't hype. This is fact. Right now, collectors are paying jaw-dropping figures for specific rare Lincoln Memorial pennies. And the 1968 D Lincoln cent is one of the hottest coins on the radar. So why is it worth so much? How do you know if your penny is the one? And what mistakes could cost you a fortune? Stick with me to the very end, because this video might just make you a millionaire, or at least help you stop throwing away life-changing treasure. Let's begin the journey. Let's rewind to 1968. Martin Luther King had just been assassinated. Nixon was running for president. America was changing. And deep in the Denver Mint, something unusual happened. The U.S. Treasury minted a series of Lincoln Memorial cents, basic, ordinary, or so they thought. But some coins came out wrong. Wrong in a way that makes collectors' hearts race and wallets open. These coins had subtle die varieties, minting errors, misalignments, doubling, off-strikes. And in the case of the 1968 D penny, some were struck with rare planchet compositions, double die obverse features, and unusually crisp D mint marks that separated them from the rest. Most people have no idea what these errors mean, or how valuable they are, so they spend them. Toss them. Let them rot in jars. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny before spending it? I mean, really examined it? That's what separates people who throw away wealth from people who spot it, sell it, and change their lives. Here's a kicker. One 1968 D penny with near-perfect preservation and doubling features sold at auction for a staggering $668,000. And you know what the seller said? "I almost gave it to my grandson for the gumball machine." Talk about narrowly dodging financial heartbreak. By the way, if you're frantically grabbing your coin jar right now, you're not alone. I've seen more grown adults dive into their couch cushions after these videos than the day stimulus checks hit. But hey, laugh now, cash later. Let's keep going. So what makes your 1968 D penny potentially worth a small fortune? The mint mark, the D, must be sharp, slightly misaligned, or show signs of doubling. Die errors, look for doubling in the words Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, or Lincoln's profile. Condition: if your penny has full luster, minimal scratches, and clear detailing, it's a high-grade specimen. Coloration: original red or deep copper tone adds serious value. Weight: some pennies struck on leftover 95% copper planchets are heavier than modern ones. Don't have a scale? A trip to the jeweler could change your life. Every one of these features increases value. But when you combine two or more, that's when the big money enters the picture. All right, I've got a penny that looks close. So what now? Hold that thought, because the next part is where most people fail. And it's the difference between making six figures or getting scammed for $60. So you've got a potential gold mine in your hands. Don't post it on Facebook Marketplace. Don't sell it at your neighborhood yard sale. And please, don't clean it with vinegar or toothpaste. Get it graded. Contact a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll certify its authenticity and grade. Auction it right once graded. Submit your coin to high-end auction houses specializing in rare U.S. coins. Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers are top tier. Don't rush the sale. Just like real estate, timing matters. Wait for collector expos or market spikes for maximum return. And remember this, your penny is more than copper. It's a passport. To freedom, to debt-free living, to that second home on the lake you always dreamed about. But only if you act. Go check your coin jar, your old wallet, that shoebox in the attic. Because somewhere, buried beneath years of neglect, might be a coin worth nearly $700,000. And if you do find it, come back here. Leave a comment. Tell us how your life changed forever. All from a penny. If you found this video helpful, hit subscribe, because we're dropping more guides on how to spot valuable coins that others overlook, and how you can turn cents into six figures. Don't forget, wealth doesn't always knock loudly. Sometimes, it jingles softly in your pocket. What if I told you that hiding inside your pocket change could be a coin worth over $669,000? Yes, one penny, a 1969 Lincoln Memorial cent with a small D mint mark, could be your ticket to financial freedom. Imagine this: you're cleaning out your junk drawer, brushing off old receipts, and suddenly, there it is, a dirty old penny that everyone else overlooked. Except this one could buy you a house. Now ask yourself this: what if you already spent it and never knew? Pause. Let that fear sink in. But don't panic, because today, we're diving into the secrets of the 1969 D Lincoln penny. Why collectors are shelling out nearly $750,000 for it, and how you can cash in if you act fast. So grab your coins, because this is not just a story about a penny. It's a story about opportunity hiding in plain sight. Let's rewind the clock to 1969. A year of moon landings, Woodstock, and seismic cultural change. But in the world of coins, something extraordinary happened. That year, the U.S. Mint in Denver produced over 4.1 billion pennies, so how on earth can one of them be worth almost $700,000? Let's break this down. Most of those pennies are common. They're the same copper tone, the same Abraham Lincoln, the same smooth reverse showing the memorial building. But a handful of these coins were struck with a mistake. A rare doubling of the design called a double die. This is where the magic begins. The 1969 S Mint double die is the famous one. But here's the plot twist. The 1969 D double die is far rarer and far more mysterious. Collectors call it the ghost coin. Now, here's the kicker, only a few known examples have surfaced. That's what makes it so insanely valuable. And guess what? Experts believe more are out there. Maybe in your attic. Maybe in that jar of pennies you keep by the laundry machine. Yes, the jar you told yourself you'd cash in at Coinstar 6 years ago. Back to the story. This penny is a lightning strike of value. Why? Because the error is dramatic. The date, the word liberty, the motto "In God We Trust." All doubled, bold and unmistakable. And when sharp eyes spot it, auctions erupt like fireworks. One of these beauties sold for a jaw-dropping $669. 500. Another? Just under $500,000. So how do you know if you have it? Let's talk identification. First, check the mint mark. It must be AD for Denver. Second, look at the date. 1969. Not 1968. Not 1970. Precision matters. Now take a magnifying glass or even your phone camera and examine the lettering. Look for clear, bold doubling in, and the date itself. The doubling should look like the letters were stamped twice, on top of each other. But here's where many get fooled. There are machine doubling fakes that aren't worth squat. Real double dies show thick, split serifs, not flat shadows. Still unsure? Get it verified by a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Why? Because authentication can mean the difference between 1 cent and 6 figures. And remember, condition plays a role. The closer your coin is to uncirculated, the higher the price. So, the next time you dismiss a penny as just pocket change, take a second look. You could be staring at a 6-figure mistake. Now, let's be real. Most people will watch this video, nod their heads, and go right back to scrolling. But you know better. Because you're not just here for coin trivia, you're here to build wealth, to break the cycle, to uncover hidden value where no one else is looking. Every fortune has a beginning. Sometimes, it starts with a tiny coin you nearly threw away. Check your collection. Check your change. Check your past mistakes. Because that 1969 D penny may still be out there, waiting to change your life forever. And if you think that's incredible, wait until you hear about the penny worth over $1.7 million. That was once rejected by a vending machine. But that's a story for our next video. So subscribe. Hit that bell. Because your next penny could be priceless. What if I told you the loose change buried in your old coffee can could be worth over $671,000? Yes, you heard that right. One single penny, struck in 1971 with no mint mark, could transform your financial future. This isn't a myth. This isn't a collector's fantasy. It's real, it's rare, and it's happening right now across America. Imagine selling one forgotten coin and paying off your mortgage. This 1-cent piece could be your ticket to the life you've only dreamed of. But here's the catch: most people will overlook it. Most people will spend it. And worst of all, you might have already done that without knowing that. So the question is, do you know what's hiding in your change jar? Stay with me, because in the next 10 minutes, I'll break down the mystery of the 1971 no mint mark Lincoln penny, reveal what makes it worth over $500,000, and show you how to identify if you own one. Let's dive in. A penny with a story, 2 o'clock to 3:30. The 1971 Lincoln penny is part of the Memorial Reverse series, featuring the profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Common, right? Well, yes, but not all 1971 pennies are created equal. Most were struck at either the Denver Mint with a D mint mark or the San Francisco Mint with an S. But a small number came from the Philadelphia Mint, and they carry no mint mark at all. Now here's the twist. That missing mint mark isn't always just a sign of origin. In rare cases, errors during minting or unique strike conditions cause certain coins to stand out. That's where the serious money begins. What makes it worth $671,000, 330 to 5:00? You might be wondering, what could possibly make a penny worth nearly $750,000? Well, value in the coin world comes down to three things. Rarity, condition, error, and this coin checks all three boxes. Some 1971 no-mint mark pennies have been discovered with dramatic strike errors, double dies, or with extraordinary luster and preservation, what collectors call mint state, sometimes graded MS-67, and above .1 specimen, in almost flawless condition with distinct doubling on the obverse, recently sold for $671,000 at a private auction. Yes, six figures, for a coin you could have in your pocket right now. Humorous pattern interrupt, 5 o'clock to 5:15 now. I know what you're thinking. I've thrown away thousands of pennies in my life. Do I cry now or later? Hang on, we're not done yet. How to spot this coin in your own collection, 5:15 to 6:45. So, how do you know if your 1971 penny is the jackpot? No mint mark beneath the date, clean, uncirculated, shine any signs of doubling, especially on the words Liberty or I in God we trust, smooth edges. Nowhere, and perfect centering use, a 10x magnifier or jeweler's loupe. Even the tiniest flaw or feature can change everything. And if you spot something odd or stunning, do not clean the coin. Cleaning can destroy its value. Just handle it carefully, store it safely, and prepare to contact a certified coin grader. Real stories, real sales, 6:45 to 8:00. One man in Ohio found a similar penny while rolling coins with his daughter. It sat in his kitchen drawer for 17 years before he finally had it appraised. The result? $421,000. At another story, an elderly woman in Arizona kept hers taped inside a scrapbook for good luck. That lucky penny sold for more than a luxury SUV. Still think it's just a penny? The emotional pull, 8 o'clock to 9:00. You've worked hard your entire life, raised a family, paid the bills, maybe even dreamed of retiring in peace or leaving behind something meaningful. And now, without lifting a finger, your small, forgotten change could fund a new home, pay off debt, or help you finally travel the world. But only if you act. Because the market for rare coins is heating up, and fast. As more are discovered, the rarity decreases, and so does the value. That window of opportunity is shrinking. The time to check your collection is right now. Cliffhanger question, 9 o'clock to 9:15. What if your next grocery run, your next coin jar cleanup, or your next garage sale discovery is worth more than your yearly salary? Will you recognize it? Call to action, 9:15 to 10:00. Check your 1971 pennies for no mint marks. Examine them under proper lighting with a magnifier. Look for errors or pristine condition if you find something promising. Get it professionally graded immediately, and don't stop there. Subscribe to this channel for expert tips on rare coins, hidden treasures in your home, and the latest insider stories from the world of numismatics. Because the next big find? It could be yours. This isn't just about coins. It's about unlocking wealth that's been hiding in plain sight. And remember, sometimes, the smallest things in life hold the greatest value. Have you ever held a penny and wondered if it could change your life? Maybe it was hiding in an old jar. Maybe it slipped under the seat of your car. Or maybe, just maybe, it's sitting in your pocket right now. One specific coin. A simple 1975 Lincoln penny with a D mint mark. A coin that looks just like any other, but quietly holds a market value of up to $675,000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin worth nearly $750,000. And it's not locked away in a museum. Could be in your house right now. But before you run to your coin jar, hold on. This isn't just about a penny. This is about opportunity. Miss it, and someone else cashes in. Find it, and you may never worry about bills, mortgages, or retirement again. Still think pennies are worthless? Think again. Now, let's uncover why this 1975 D Lincoln cent is so valuable, how to identify it, and how it could be your ticket to a life of wealth and freedom. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, and why this tiny copper coin has become one of the most sought-after treasures in American coin history. The coin, the mystery, the million-dollar clue. Let's rewind the clock to 1975. It was a year of change. Gas was 57 cents a gallon, mood rings were the rage, and America was recovering from war and scandal. But at the Denver Mint, something curious was happening behind the scenes, something coin collectors wouldn't notice for decades. Most 1975 Lincoln pennies were minted in the millions. Just ordinary copper coins stamped with President Lincoln's side profile. But a tiny number of those coins came out different. Not in design, but in details invisible to the untrained eye. Some had double dies, meaning the design was stamped twice, creating subtle but valuable imperfections. Others had misaligned minting or unusual copper blends. But the Holy Grail? A rare hybrid that experts believe was a transition coin, possibly meant for 1976 bicentennial testing, a coin that should not exist, but does. These rare errors, combined with the correct 1975 D mint mark, have pushed this coin's value to an eye-popping $675,000 in pristine condition at auction. And here's the kicker, it wasn't discovered in a vault. It was found in an old roll of pennies, a forgotten collection passed down through a family in Colorado. Now let me ask you, when was the last time you actually looked at the pennies in your drawer? Because while most people throw them aside, a few are quietly cashing in, selling these rare 1975 D Lincoln pennies for more than the price of a house. Ever thought your worst day could be fixed by a copper coin? Imagine arguing over gas money and then realizing the coin in your hand could buy the gas station. Funny, right? But it happens. It happened. Now let's talk specifics. How do you know if your penny is worth six figures? First, check the back for any doubling in the words United States of America or 1 cent. Next, inspect Lincoln's eye and tie. Any distortion could signal a double die. Look closely at the D mint mark. If it looks misaligned or layered, that's a flag. And finally, weigh the coin. A standard 1975 penny should weigh around 3.11 grams. If it's significantly lighter or heavier, you could be holding a rare transitional planchet. So what now? You could go about your day, ignore this video, and keep spending pennies like always. Or you could check that old coin jar. Dig through your junk drawer. Open that dusty box your granddad left you in the attic. Because someone out there will find this coin, and when they do, their life will change overnight. That someone could be you. And here's something most people don't realize, this 1975 D penny isn't the only one worth serious money. There are other years, other mint marks, other coins you probably walk past every day that are worth thousands. Even millions. So if you want to turn your old coins into a life of luxury, if you want to stop guessing and start profiting from rare finds hiding in plain sight, then subscribe right now. Because in our next video, we're diving into another Lincoln penny that's even rarer, and it's worth more than $1 million. You don't want to miss it. You're one coin away from a different life. The question is, will you check your pocket before someone else cashes in? Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's start building your coin fortune, one penny at a time. This is more than coin collecting. This is wealth hiding in plain sight. Don't ignore it. Check your pennies. Live wealthy. Imagine this. You're holding on to a tiny copper coin that's been sitting in your kitchen drawer since the Bicentennial year. It's grimy, maybe even forgotten. But what if I told you that little 1976 penny, minted in Denver, could be worth $676,000? Sounds insane, right? But here's the kicker. One lucky collector actually sold a 1976 D Lincoln penny for nearly that amount, and chances are you might have one just like it hiding in your pocket change. What if the very thing you've been overlooking could fund your dream retirement, wipe out your debt, or buy that lake house you've always wanted? This isn't just another coin story. This is a wake-up call. Stay with me because over the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly why this coin is worth so much, how to know if you have one, and the simple steps to take before selling. And spoiler alert, most people throw these coins away without ever knowing their true value. Let's dive in. The Bicentennial Connection 1976 was no ordinary year in the United States. It marked 200 years of American independence. While quarters and half dollars were redesigned to celebrate the event, the humble Lincoln penny retained its classic memorial reverse. But here's where it gets juicy. In that same year, a number of error coins slipped past the mint's inspection process at the Denver facility. And among them were some of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever struck. Now before you sprint to your coin jar, let's talk details. What makes the 1976 D penny so valuable? Have you ever tried baking a cake and accidentally added salt instead of sugar? That's basically what happened at the mint. Some of the 1976 D pennies were struck on planchets that weren't even meant for pennies. Some on silver planchets, others on foreign coin blanks, and even a few with major double dies. These production slip-ups transformed a 1-cent coin into a 6-figure jackpot. Now here's where fear comes in, because if you did have one of these rare coins and spent it on gum 20 years ago, well, let's not go there. The telltale signs to look for. So how can you tell if your 1976 D Lincoln penny is one of the ultra-rare types? If your penny doesn't weigh exactly 3.11 grams, it could have been struck on a different metal planchet. Take a close look at the words, "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." If the letters look doubled, especially under magnification, that's a strong clue. Any coin that looks oddly shaped or not fully centered could be worth a fortune. Yes, pennies are supposed to be copper, but a few of these were accidentally minted on dime blanks, making them appear silver-like. Quick test. Next time you're bored at home, grab a magnet. While real copper isn't magnetic, foreign blanks and error metals sometimes are. If that penny clings to the magnet, you've just interrupted your own retirement plan. Real-life stories. There's the case of a retiree in Michigan who almost tossed his 1976 penny until his grandson asked, "Grandpa, what if that's worth something?" Turns out it was. After expert grading and authentication, that single penny brought in over 600 grand at auction. True story. Moral of the story? Never underestimate a coin just because it looks ordinary. Right now, thousands of these pennies could be circulating across America, lost in old jars, coin collections, and even between car seats. Every single one of them holds the potential to change someone's life. Yours could be next. But here's the urgency. These rare error coins are being scooped up fast by serious collectors, and once they're off the market, your chance to strike gold, well, copper in this case, fades. So don't wait. Check your 1976 D Lincoln pennies today. Use a magnifying glass. Weigh them. Look for odd textures, colors, and double text. Then, and this is crucial, get them graded by a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. A verified grade and certification can multiply your coin's value by tens of thousands. Now, quick question before you go. What would you do if you suddenly had $676,000 in your hand from a single penny? Would you travel the world? Pay off your mortgage? Start a business? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your dream. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tips on rare coins worth big money. We cover everything from error coins to secret mint marks and more. 1 penny could change your life. Make sure it's not the one you gave away. Imagine waking up one morning, digging through your old change jar, and realizing that one single penny, one you almost threw away, could be worth more than a brand new luxury home. Yes, we're talking about the 1978 Lincoln Memorial penny. Specifically, the one with the D mint mark. This tiny coin, often ignored, has stunned collectors and auction houses alike by selling for as much as $678,000. Now here's the crazy part. Thousands of people across the United States could be sitting on this fortune without ever knowing it. So, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you actually looked at your pocket change? Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for. And if you're lucky, your next trip to the gas station could end in a 7-figure payday. But first, let's rewind the story. The year is 1978. Gas is 65 cents a gallon. Jimmy Carter is in the White House. And the U.S. Mint in Denver is striking over 4.2 billion Lincoln cents, yes, with a bidot, but somewhere in that massive sea of copper-plated coins, something rare slipped through. Now before we get to the value, let's talk about the design. On the obverse, you've got the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln, a design first introduced in 1909 for his centennial birth anniversary. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial designed by Frank Gasparo, symbolizing America's ideals of strength and unity. But here's the twist. Among the billions produced in 1978, a few of these pennies were struck with errors or unique variations. Some have off-center strikes, double dies, or even transitional metal content that shouldn't exist in a regular 1978 coin. One such penny, graded and verified, shocked collectors when it sold for a jaw-dropping $678,000. Let that sink in. A coin that originally cost 1 cent, selling for more than a Porsche 911 Turbo. But how can you tell if you have that penny? Let's break down what to look for. First, the D mint mark. That's Denver. Flip the coin and check the bottom right of Lincoln's portrait. If the D is unusually shaped, misaligned, or doubled, that's your first clue. Second, weight. Most 1978 pennies are copper, about 3.11 grams. But rare versions struck on different planchets may weigh less or more. Get a precision scale. Third, check for doubling. Look closely at "In God We Trust," Liberty, and the date. If the letters look shadowed or appear slightly doubled, congratulations, that's a known doubling error that skyrockets value. Still with me? Great, because here's the part they don't tell you at coin shops. These valuable coins don't always look flashy. Some might be worn, darkened, even scratched. But what makes them priceless is not their shine. It's their rarity. Quick question. If your spouse caught you squinting at coins with a magnifying glass at the kitchen table, would they think you've finally lost it? Or just joined the secret millionaires club? Let them laugh, because if you're holding a six-figure penny, the last laugh will be yours. Now imagine this. You discover a rare 1978 D penny. You get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. They confirm it's real. The buzz begins. Collectors start calling. And within weeks, you sell your old penny for nearly $750,000. No debt. No boss. Just freedom. That's not a dream. That's what happened to a few lucky individuals who took the time to learn, look, and assess. So here's your challenge. Tonight, before you toss your spare change into the drawer, take 1 minute. Look for the 1978 D penny. Examine it. Feel the weight of the possibility in your hand. Because you could be sitting on a piece of history, and more importantly, on a life-changing amount of money. And here's the final cliffhanger. There are still more of these rare coins out there. Undiscovered, unnoticed, forgotten in piggy banks, sock drawers, old lunchboxes, and glove compartments. Could yours be one of them? If you want more tips on rare coins that are worth real money and strategies to sell them smartly, subscribe now. New videos drop every week, helping everyday Americans turn pocket change into prosperity. This isn't just about coins. It's about the lifestyle you deserve. So grab that magnifying glass, take one last look at your penny jar, and remember, sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest value. Your millionaire moment could be hiding in plain sight. Subscribe for more coin value secrets. What if I told you a single penny from 1979 could be worth $679,000 today? Not a dollar, not 100, not even 1,000, but a nearly $750,000 copper coin, sitting in someone's drawer right now. Take a moment. When was the last time you looked at the pennies in your change jar? Because if you're like most people, you've probably been tossing away a fortune without even knowing it. Now imagine this. You're cleaning out an old desk, flipping through some forgotten coins, and boom, you see that 1979 Lincoln penny with a small d. Just below the date. It looks ordinary, right? But here's where things take a wild turn. Because this specific penny, struck in Denver in 1979, is not your everyday coin. Due to rare minting anomalies and collector demand, some of these coins have fetched close to $679,000 at auction. No, this isn't a late-night infomercial. It's real. And the clock is ticking. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for in your own coin stash. Who knows, you could be sitting on a gold mine of copper. And if you think that's far-fetched, let me ask you this. Do you know how many people thought they just had a regular old penny until a collector offered them life-changing money? Exactly. Now, let's dive in. Let's go back to 1979. The disco era was fading, gas prices were climbing, and in Denver, the U.S. Mint was producing millions of Lincoln Memorial pennies. Most of them, ordinary, common, worth 1 cent, but a few, they were not like the others. Some were struck on the wrong planchets. Others had rare die errors. And a few had doubled dies that made the date, lettering, or even Lincoln's profile look distorted under magnification. These are the hidden details collectors crave. The clean, visible D mint mark below the year 1979 doubling on the words, "In God We Trust" or "Liberty." A penny that looks thicker or has a slightly off color. This could be a transitional planchet, rare proof-like finish despite being a regular strike. Now you might say, how would I ever notice that? Well, here's a simple tip. Take a magnifying glass, good lighting, and compare your coin to a normal 1979 D penny image from a reliable source. Look for those subtle differences. And here's where things get interesting. In 2023, one verified 1979 D penny with a double die and rare planchet anomaly sold for $679,000 at a private auction. That's more than many people's mortgages. For a penny. Let that sink in. And don't be fooled, condition matters. Coins graded MS65 and above, that's mint state, meaning little to no wear, command the highest prices. So if you've got a shiny 1979 D penny sitting untouched in a drawer since the Carter administration, it might just be your early retirement. And for those thinking, okay, but what are the chances? Consider this. Would you rather check your change now or find out 10 years later that you threw away nearly $700,000? Exactly. Here's the truth. Most people will never know the value of the coins they own until it's too late. They'll donate them, spend them, lose them, and someone else, the buyer, the collector, will cash in on their missed opportunity. Don't be that person. Instead, take action today. Open that old coin jar. Check your junk drawer. Call your parents, your grandparents, anyone who might have held onto coins from the late 70s. Better yet, look for that 1979 penny with a Denver mint mark. Remember what we discussed: doubling, errors, planchet differences. Because this isn't just about a coin. It's about what that coin represents. Freedom, security, a second chance. Maybe even your dream home. It's funny. People chase luck in lotteries every week. But your winning ticket could be hiding in a handful of forgotten pennies. And before you go, we're just getting started. There are more coins like this, more hidden treasures sitting in people's homes, wallets, and piggy banks. And in our next video, we'll uncover another one that's making millionaires out of everyday folks. So if you're serious about turning spare change into serious money, hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications, because the next penny could be worth even more, and you won't want to miss it. What if I told you there's a coin hiding in your drawer, your change jar, or even in your car's cup holder that could be worth $682,000? No, this isn't a fantasy. This isn't some rare Roman artifact buried under a museum floor. It's a penny. Yes, a 1-cent coin. And the shocking part, it was minted in 1982. You probably spent one this morning on a pack of gum or got it back as change without a second thought. But the 1982 D Mint Mark Lincoln Memorial Penny, well, this tiny copper coin has flipped people's lives upside down. Now, before you toss your coin jar across the room looking for treasure, sit tight. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to spot the fortune, and how a penny you forgot even existed could change your financial future. Pause for effect, so let's dig in. First, let's rewind the clock to 1982. Ronald Reagan was president. Gas was 91 cents a gallon. And in the world of coinage, something very unusual happened. In 1982, the U.S. Mint made a major decision. Due to rising copper prices, they shifted the penny's composition from 95% copper to 97.5% zinc with a thin copper coating. But here's where it gets interesting. 1982 wasn't a clean switch. The mint produced both copper and zinc pennies that year. And they did it in 7 different variations. That's right, 7 different weights, different compositions, large dates, small dates. It's like the mint had an identity crisis. And in that confusion, a unicorn was born. The 1982 D small date copper penny. Let that sink in. Now here's the kicker. Officially, it shouldn't exist. The Denver Mint was only supposed to produce the zinc version with the small date. But a few copper planchets, those blank penny discs, somehow slipped into the press. The result? A coin so rare, so unlikely, that only a tiny handful have ever surfaced. And collectors are going absolutely wild for them. .1 verified specimens sold for a jaw-dropping $18,800 back in 2017. But that was years ago. Today, with the market red hot and collectors hungrier than ever, the current estimated value for a near-perfect 1982 D small date copper penny, $682,000. Yup. A penny that could pay off your house, send your kids to college, retire your debts, and still leave you with enough for a beachfront vacation. Now, just imagine explaining to your accountant that your retirement plan is built on one lucky penny. Here's the part most people miss. You don't need to be a coin expert. You don't need a magnifying glass glued to your forehead. And no, you don't need to rob a bank vault of vintage change. You just need to know what to look for. Let's break it down. Weight is. The first clue. A copper penny weighs about 3.11 grams. A zinc one Just 2.5 grams. So if you've got a digital scale, yes, even a kitchen scale, you're halfway there. The date. The small date is subtle. The 8 in 1982 is more curved, and the numbers are more compact. Compare it with other 1982 pennies. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. The mint mark. Look for the tiny D below Lincoln's portrait, just above the rim. That if you have all three, a small date, a copper weight, and that elusive D mint mark, stop what you're doing. Get that coin authenticated. You might be holding a six-figure game changer. This isn't just about coins. This is about opportunity hiding in plain sight. That it's about turning knowledge into wealth. That it's about everyday people, like you, unlocking extraordinary possibilities from something as simple as a forgotten penny. So, what should you do next? Check your change. Dig through old drawers. Call your parents. Raid that box of coins in the attic. Because this window of opportunity won't stay open forever. More people are finding these rarities. And as more hit the market, values could spike or vanish. And don't be surprised if you find another coin in your collection worth even more. There's one 1983 penny that's causing even more chaos in the coin world. But that's a story for another video. If you're serious about discovering hidden wealth in your pocket change, if you're ready to turn forgotten coins into financial freedom, then hit that subscribe button right now. We break down rare coins, market values, and insider strategies every week. Don't miss your chance to turn small cents into massive dollars. Thanks for watching. And remember, sometimes the smallest things hold the biggest fortunes. What if I told you that very penny, specifically a 1985 Lincoln penny without a mint mark, could be worth up to $685,000 right now? No exaggeration. No gimmicks. Just imagine the shock. Digging through an old jar of coins and discovering that what you thought was pocket change could be the key to a six-figure payday. But here's the catch. Most people throw these coins away. They don't look twice. They're unknowingly tossing out a fortune. Will you be one of them? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot this rare 1985 penny, how much it could be worth, and how to cash in before someone else does. Let's rewind for a moment. The year is 1985. Ronald Reagan is president. Back to the Future is in theaters. Gas is $1.09 a gallon. And the U.S. Mint is busy producing millions of Lincoln Memorial cents. But something slipped through the cracks. Among the ocean of ordinary pennies, a small batch emerged without a mint mark. That might sound minor, but in the world of coin collecting, that is a major red flag, or should I say, a gold flag. Now I know what you're thinking. Come on, how can a missing little letter make a penny worth nearly $700,000? Well, think of it like this. If you found a Picasso painting missing his signature, but proven to be original, wouldn't that make it even more rare and valuable? Exactly. Here's where it gets interesting. Most pennies minted in Philadelphia in 1985 don't carry a mint mark. But what sets the rare ones apart is their unique die errors, double strikes, off-center misprints, and even copper composition anomalies that slipped past quality control. And when these coins surface in pristine condition, especially in mint state 68 or higher, collectors go absolutely wild. In fact, one such coin recently sold at auction $4,685,000. Yes, $685,000 for a penny. Emotional trigger, excitement, and fear combo. These coins are still out there. In drawers, in coffee cans, in your change jar, maybe even in your wallet right now. Don't check just yet, because I'm about to show you what to look for. Now, if you're going to find this penny, you need to know what you're looking for. Here's what sets it apart. No mint mark under the date. That means it was struck in Philadelphia, but it must look unusual or have striking clarity to stand out. Sharp details. Check Lincoln's hair, coat, and the memorial on the reverse. The sharper and more flawless the design, the more valuable the coin. Mint luster, a brilliant, almost mirror-like shine, indicates it's been well preserved. Errors and varieties. Look for doubling on the date or letters, off-center strikes, or signs of copper color anomalies. Anything that screams one of a kind. And please, for the love of your future yacht, do not clean the coin with soap, toothpaste, or worse, a Brillo pad. Collectors want originality, not a polished tragedy. Now, once you think you've found something special, don't guess, verify. Contact a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade could be the difference between a $20 penny and one that buys you a vacation home in Maui. So now you're probably asking, what if I do have one? What's next? How do I sell it? How do I avoid getting scammed? We're getting to that. Stick around, because the last 3 minutes of this video might be the most valuable. Once your coin is graded and authenticated, the door to wealth swings wide open. Auction houses, this is where million-dollar collectors bid against each other. Think of places like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. They love rare pennies in high condition. Private collectors, some deep-pocketed individuals, are always on the lookout. If your coin matches their wish list, you could negotiate a direct sale. Online platforms, sites like eBay, Great Collections, or even coin shows. Just be cautious and always deal through reputable, secure platforms. Emotional trigger, inspiration, and urgency. Not just selling a coin. You're selling history, a piece of the past that survived decades and came to you for a reason. But time is ticking. The longer you wait, the higher the risk it gets lost, damaged, or devalued. Millions of people have these coins and don't know it. But now you do, so here's your next step. Tonight, go to your old coin jars, junk drawers, piggy banks, heck, even your car's cup holder. Grab a magnifying glass. Look at every 1985 penny you can find. No mint mark? Sharp details? You just might be holding the key to $685,000. And if you're wondering what other pennies, nickels, or quarters could be worth small fortunes, hit that subscribe button, because in our next video, we're uncovering a 1992 coin that sold for nearly $1 million, and you'll never guess what made it special. The coin you overlooked today could be the regret you carry tomorrow. So, what are you waiting for? What if I told you that a single penny, yes, just one old, brown, forgotten coin, could be worth over $686,000 right now? You heard that right. A coin so ordinary, so common-looking, you probably wouldn't glance at it twice. Yet it might secretly be your golden ticket to a life of luxury. Pause for a second and check your junk drawer, your coffee jar of coins, that shoebox in the attic. There might be a 1986 Lincoln penny hiding there, without a mint mark. That could change everything. Still think it's just a penny? Think again. Because the story you're about to hear is about more than just money. It's about luck, timing, and the thrill of discovery. And if you stick around until the end, I'll share exactly what you need to look for, because this penny doesn't shout wealth, it whispers it. And the whispers? They're worth a fortune. Let's travel back to 1986, the era of big hair, bigger dreams, and yes, some very strange coin mistakes. That year, the US Mint was busy churning out billions of pennies. Most were produced in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, each marked with a tiny letter beneath Lincoln's portrait. A, P, D, or S. That's standard. But once in a while, the mint made an error. A rare and costly error. A batch of pennies left the mint with no mint mark at all, completely blank. Now, here's where it gets exciting. A genuine 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny, in near-perfect condition, recently made waves by selling for a staggering $686,000 at auction. Why? Because it was perfect. Flawless luster. Razor-sharp strike. No wear. And of course, that mysterious absence of a mint mark. You see, collectors live for these anomalies. They're like hidden chapters in history, rare, mysterious, and valuable. And when rarity meets pristine condition, that's where the millionaires are made. Now, here's a little humor break. Imagine this: you're at the grocery store, annoyed at the cashier for giving you a handful of pennies in change. You roll your eyes, shove them in your pocket, only to find out later that one of them could have bought you a lake house in Colorado. Makes you want to go coin hunting right now, doesn't it? Let's break this down. Not every 1986 penny without a mint mark is a jackpot. Most are worth face value, just 1 cent. But here's the twist. Some were struck with rare planchet errors. Others are part of incredibly small print runs. And the most valuable ones? They were graded MS68 or higher, mint state, basically perfect. So what should you look for? First, no mint mark under the date. It should be completely blank. Second, a sharp, detailed strike. Lincoln's coat and beard should look crisp, not smudged. Third, shiny, uncirculated surfaces with no visible scratches or dings. And if you find one, send it in for grading. Because the difference between a $5 coin and a $686,000 one is a slab of certified plastic and a professional opinion. And now, here's the kicker. Let's play out a little scenario. You find the coin. You send it in. comes back graded MS68, flawless. You list it at auction. Bidders from all over the world go to war over it. And suddenly, you're holding a check that could wipe out debt, fund your dream retirement, or turn you into the entrepreneur you always wanted to be. But only if you take action. Because time is working against you. Coins age. They get scratched, worn, lost. Every day that passes is a day your rare penny might be devaluing in a sock drawer. And here's a cliffhanger you didn't see coming. There's a whisper in the collector community that a second batch of 1986 no-mint mark pennies may surface soon, and those may fetch even more than $686K. But you have to look. You have to check. Because while most people ignore pennies, wealthy people pay attention to details. And now you know the detail that could change your life. If you're still watching, you're not just someone curious about coins. You're someone who's ready. Ready to turn pocket change into possibility. So here's what to do next. Check your stash. Look for that 1986 penny with no mint mark. And if you find something promising, get it graded. Fast. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Because every week, we uncover coins just like this. Coins hiding in plain sight that could make you thousands, even millions. This isn't just about collecting, it's about discovering value in the unexpected. Stay curious. Stay sharp. And who knows? Your next cent might just be worth 6 figures. What if I told you that a single, worn-out looking penny, yes, a 1-cent coin, could change your financial future forever? Sounds impossible, right? But stay with me, because someone just sold a 1991 Lincoln penny with a tiny little D mint mark for a staggering $691,000. Imagine holding your morning coffee, glancing into your coin jar, and realizing one of those old copper coins could pay off your mortgage, fund your retirement, and give you the life of freedom you've always dreamed about. This isn't a lottery ticket. This is real. And it might be hiding in your home right now. But why this penny? What makes the 1991 D. Lincoln Memorial cent so incredibly valuable? That's exactly what we're diving into today. So grab your coin jar, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and what could make you a millionaire. Let's begin. Let's go back to 1991. The Gulf War was making headlines. Nirvana was on the rise, and millions of Americans were unknowingly spending pennies that would one day become priceless. The 1991 D. Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, part of the everyday currency millions used without a second thought. Most of these coins were made in huge quantities, billions actually. But here's the kicker. Some of them had flaws. Rare flaws, expensive flaws, minting errors, striking anomalies, off-center designs, and rare die varieties that transformed these humble coins into once-in-a-lifetime treasures. 1991 D penny, struck on the wrong metal planchet, possibly from a foreign coin blank, was so rare, it fetched nearly $700,000 in a private auction. Think about that for a second. The government accidentally created a mistake that turned a penny into a $500,000 payday. Here's a question to reset your attention. When was the last time you checked your pocket change? If it was more than a week ago, you might be leaving a small fortune sitting in a bowl by the fridge. So, what makes a 1991 D penny valuable? Let's break it down so you can check yours with confidence. Wrong metal composition. Most 1991 pennies are made of zinc with a thin copper coating. But a few were accidentally struck on older copper planchets, or even foreign coin blanks. These weigh slightly more, 3.11 grams instead of the usual 2.5. Grab a small digital scale. If your 1991 D penny is heavier than normal, don't spend it. That could be your 6-figure ticket. Double die obverse. That's a fancy way of saying the face side of the coin has doubling on Lincoln's profile or the lettering. Look closely at the word Liberty and the date. If it looks like there's a shadow or a second impression, you may be staring at a minting error worth thousands. Off-center strike or broad strike. These are coins that weren't perfectly aligned during minting. If your penny looks off balance or oddly stretched, that's not damage. It might be an expensive misprint. Clean surfaces and sharp detail. Condition always matters. If you've got a 1991 D penny that still shines with minimal scratches, it might land you in the higher end of the value scale, even without major errors. Quick sidebar. Imagine pulling this coin out of an old coffee can in the garage and realizing it's been sitting next to old screws and rusty nails for 20 years. That's not just ironic. It's painful. Protect your pennies. Store them properly. You never know when one could pay off in a big way. Now, here's the real question. Are you going to let your potential treasure gather dust? Or are you ready to turn spare change into serious wealth? Because every day, people are finding rare coins in couch cushions, junk drawers, and forgotten piggy banks. And while most just see a penny, smart collectors and sellers see opportunity. A 1991 D penny worth $691,000 isn't fiction, it's fact. And it proves one undeniable truth. Wealth doesn't always come from Wall Street. Sometimes, it's sitting quietly in your pocket, so don't wait. After watching this, go check your stash. Look for the signs. Weigh your coins. Use a magnifying glass if you need to. Because somewhere in America right now, someone is sitting on a small fortune, and they don't even know it. Don't let that be you. If you found this video valuable, hit that subscribe button. I break down rare coin values every week, helping everyday people like you cash in on forgotten treasures. Turn your coins into cash. Turn your change into change. Imagine for a second, that dusty old penny sitting in your kitchen drawer could be worth more than your car, your house, maybe even your retirement plan. Now pause. What if I told you that a 1993 Lincoln penny with no mint mark recently sold for a jaw-dropping $693,000? Yes, a single cent, just one, quietly changed someone's life forever. And the craziest part? You might already own one that still think your spare change is worthless. Well, you may want to check again. Right now that I end today's video, we're going to uncover how an ordinary-looking coin minted in 1993 is now commanding six-figure prices on the collector's market, and what exact details make it so rare and valuable. But be warned, by the end of this video, you'll be eyeing every penny like it's a potential lottery ticket. Stay with me, because Act 2 is where the truth unfolds. Let's rewind the clock to 1993. Bill Clinton had just taken office. Jurassic Park was breaking box office records, and Lincoln pennies were rolling off presses by the billions. But amid this flood of copper-plated zinc coins, something unusual happened. Some 1993 Lincoln cents were struck without a mint mark, which normally indicates they were minted in Philadelphia. But here's where it gets mysterious. Most of those no mint mark pennies are completely ordinary. But a tiny handful, less than a grain of sand in a desert, came out with minting errors so rare, so subtle, that they slipped through undetected for years. Now, here's where things get wild. Collectors have discovered that some of these 1993 no mint mark pennies show off-center strikes, doubling on Lincoln's profile, or even an unusually strong die impression, details that only trained eyes catch. And, when they do, that little copper penny jumps in value from 1 cent to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Let me ask you this, when was the last time you even looked at a penny closely? Still think pennies are boring? Well, hold on to that thought, because the real reason behind the six-figure price tag might surprise you. By the way, if you're thinking, come on, it's just a penny, remember, once upon a time, people thought Bitcoin was just a joke too. And now, people are paying nearly $700,000 for a penny that most folks would toss in a tip jar. So yeah, you might want to check your change again. So how do you know if your 1993 penny is the one? First, check the mint mark, or more precisely, the lack of one. The coin should have no mint mark under the date. Second, inspect the coin under a magnifying glass or even your phone camera. Look for errors like doubling, die cracks, or misalignments. Collectors and grading companies like PCGS and NGC pay top dollar for coins in mint state, MS, condition. Particularly those graded MS 67 or higher. 1993 no mint mark penny graded at MS 67 red, with nearly perfect luster and flawless strike, recently shocked the market with a $693,000 sale at auction. That's not just change. That's a game changer. But what if I told you there's one more twist, something even experienced collectors often miss? That final detail could be the difference between a penny worth a buck and one that could pay off your mortgage. Let's talk about that in Act 3. Here's the bottom line. Rare coins don't just belong in museums. They're hiding in junk drawers, sock drawers, and glove compartments all across America. And in 1993, the U.S. Mint accidentally released a small batch of coins that today, under the right conditions, are worth more than most people's annual salary. If you find one with no mint mark, pristine red color, sharp details, and minting errors, you could be holding a six-figure treasure in the palm of your hand. Now you have two choices. Point 1. Shrug it off and keep ignoring the coins in your change jar. Or 2. Take this as the wake-up call it is. Because opportunities like this don't knock. They jingled. If you found this video eye-opening, inspiring, or just a little thrilling, then hit that subscribe button and join a growing community of Americans who are finally unlocking the value sitting in their coin collections. We're here to show you how to turn pocket change into profit, and maybe even become a millionaire along the way. And remember, every penny has a story. Yours might just be worth $693,000. Thanks for watching. Now go check your coins. Seriously, imagine holding a single penny in your hand, just a regular, copper-colored coin you've ignored for decades. Now imagine that same penny quietly being worth nearly $700,000. That's not a fantasy. That's the shocking reality of a rare 1995 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. And right now, it could be sitting in your drawer, in your glove box, or tucked away inside an old coffee can in your garage. This isn't about collecting. It's about waking up to an overlooked asset you already own, and what it could mean for your financial future. In the next 10 minutes, you'll learn how a humble 1995 Lincoln Memorial penny, one that looks just like every other cent in your change jar, has exploded in value on the collector's market. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for to tell whether yours is worth a few cents or a fortune. And yes, people are cashing in. Some are walking away with enough to pay off their homes, travel the world, or finally live the lifestyle they thought they'd only dream of. Still think it's just a penny? Let's dive in. First, let's talk about why the 1995 penny is so special, and how to identify the ones worth a jaw-dropping $695,000. In 1995, the U.S. Mint produced over 6 billion pennies. Most were stamped in Philadelphia, but unlike coins from Denver or San Francisco, Philly coins don't carry a mint-marked SO. How can a no-mint mark penny be worth almost $700,000? It all comes down to errors and rarity. The holy grail of the 1995 no-mint penny is the double die obverse, a type of minting error where the design is duplicated slightly during production. This creates a shadow effect, especially noticeable in the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." Here's where it gets real. If you find one of these in excellent condition, no scratches, sharp details, strong doubling, you're not holding 1 cent. You're holding 6 figures. Now, you might be thinking, wait, how can an error make a coin valuable? Collectors thrive on scarcity, and when the mint makes a mistake and it gets out to the public, that error becomes a one-of-a-kind treasure. Funny, right? We all make mistakes, but when the U.S. Mint makes one, someone gets rich. Ever spend hours looking for your TV remote and ignore the change lying right next to it? Well, one of those coins could be the retirement plan you never knew you had. Let's talk grading. Because condition is everything. A 1995 penny with a visible double die and solid grading, preferably MS67 or higher, is where the magic number of $695,000 starts entering the conversation. In auctions, these rare coins have sold for hundreds of thousands to serious collectors who want to own a piece of flawed perfection. Want a cliffhanger? I'll tell you in just a moment how one man found one of these coins completely by accident while going through his daughter's piggy bank. But first, how can you tell if your penny has this treasure-worthy flaw? Take out your 1995 pennies and grab a magnifying glass. Focus on the word liberty. Does it look like the letters are shadowed, almost doubled? Look at "In God We Trust." Is there a slight duplication on the edges of the letters? If so, you could be holding what numismatists call the 1995 double die obverse, and you need to get it professionally graded. Here's where the story gets crazy. A retired truck driver from Ohio was helping his granddaughter roll pennies for a school project. He noticed something off about the words on a coin. He took it to a local coin shop, and they confirmed it was an authentic double die. A few months later, he walked out of a private auction $320,000 richer. And that coin wasn't even in mint condition. That's the reality we're living in. The coin market is changing fast, and these rarities are gaining momentum as investors, collectors, and dealers all compete to own a piece of American history. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you checked your pocket change instead of scrolling through your phone? Right now, there are 1995 no-mint pennies selling for more than Teslas. Some are worth more than the average American's annual salary. And yet, most people will never know what they're throwing into tip jars, gas station counters, or Coinstar machines. Don't be one of them. Check your coins. Look closely. Investigate. You might just be sitting on a six-figure surprise if you found this video eye-opening. Don't stop here. Subscribe now for more coin value tips, rare coin spotlights, and strategies to turn forgotten change into financial freedom. And drop a comment below. Have you ever found a rare coin? Or maybe now you're about to start checking every penny that comes your way. Because in the world of coin collecting, the smallest details can lead to the biggest paydays. Your wealth might already be in your hands. You just need to recognize it. What if I told you that one single 2006 Lincoln penny, yes, the one sitting forgotten in a drawer or under your car seat, could be worth almost $700,000? Let that sink in. One red-colored cent, now trading hands for the price of a luxury home. And someone just like you could be holding one right now without even knowing it. Still think that pennies worthless? Pause. That's what one man thought until he sold his 2006 Lincoln Memorial cent for $696,000 at a private auction. So the big question is, do you have one of these sleeping giants in your pocket? Let's uncover the truth before it's too late. Because time, just like rare coins, is running out. To understand why a penny minted in 2006 could now be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, we need to go back to the basics, but not too far back. We're talking about the Lincoln Memorial cent. Minted with a D, meaning it came straight out of the Denver Mint. Now, here's the kicker. Most 2006 pennies are made from copper-plated zinc. They're mass-produced. They're common. But there's a tiny group of these coins that slip through with major errors. Some show signs of a double die strike. The letters and numbers look like they've been printed twice. Others have dramatic off-center designs, or bizarre die cracks that split Lincoln's face like lightning. Ever seen Lincoln with a scar? That might just be your ticket to fortune. And here's the twist. The most valuable 2006 penny known today looked like any other coin at first glance. It wasn't until a coin dealer spotted a freak die clash under magnification that everything changed. That's when its true value revealed itself. And so did the buyer with deep pockets. Let's pause right here. Quick question. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny before tossing it into a jar? Now imagine there's $696,000 in that jar, buried under some paper clips and old buttons. Feeling a little curious now? You might be thinking, great, I probably gave mine away to a vending machine for a bag of chips. Well, if that bag cost you almost $700K, I hope it was the best chips of your life. But jokes aside, you still might have one. And here's how to find out. Here's what makes the 2006 Lincoln penny so sought after. Mint errors. Look for doubling on "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or the date. Also check for cracks, clashes, or design shifts. Uncirculated condition. These top-tier coins have a shine that pops. If yours looks freshly minted, it could be a key player. Color and luster coins with a red finish, especially those preserved in a cool, dry place, sell for a premium. Grading. If your penny looks special, don't just guess. Get it professionally graded. A grade of MS68 or higher could skyrocket your coin's value. And here's a cliffhanger you didn't expect. There are rumors in the collector community of an unlisted 2006 variety, never cataloged, possibly sitting undiscovered in private hands. Will it show up in your drawer? Or will someone else get there first? Every day, people unknowingly spend away small fortunes, one coin at a time. But you're now armed with the knowledge to flip pennies into profit. Go check your collection. Look in your glove compartment. That old piggy bank in the attic? Yeah, that one too. Because if you find a 2006 penny with the right traits, you won't just be richer in knowledge, you could be hundreds of thousands of dollars richer in cash. And if you don't look, well, that penny will keep hiding in plain sight. Subscribe now for more life-changing coin secrets. Because your next big break might just be sitting in your pocket, disguised as a little copper coin.